Violets are blue, the videos are back, and the Champions League too. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today we're taking a look at the round of 16 in this year's Champions League, and it is the first legs, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe button, bang, say all things Rovers related, Champions League related, world football related. We're going to all here, boys, under this very roof. Now, we are still in Pennsylvania. We are still in a bit of a limbo land, but I thought I would start to crank up the videos once again. It's been, 4 to 6 weeks of hiatus, but we are back for the important one, the big one, the Champions League knockout stages. We'll get to it in a second, of course. A big shout out to those MFE, the VIPs, of course. It is the patrons. And if you are interested in helping this channel out, because it will pick up very, very soon. We're on the brink of moving from one house to another house, getting all set up again, getting all plugged in again. And then we're going to be non-stop to the top, of course. We're going to be back in business big time. But if you want to help us out, check out the links down below. But anyway, let's turn the clock back, of course, to the last time we took a look at the Champions League, which, of course, was the last group games. Let's, of course, turn back to the last match. Let's, of course, turn the clock back to those last match day. So let's turn the clock back to those last games in, of course, the Champions League group stages back on the 1st and 2nd of November, kicking all off with Leverkusen up against Club Brugge, and up as a 0-0 draw. I went with the 1-0 win for Leverkusen. Of course, Porto picking up a draw against Atletico. 2-1 it was for me. 2-1 it was the final score there. Marseille did lose to Spurs. 2-1 was the final score. I went with the 2-0, picked up 4 points on that badger. I did get the Frankfurt victory over Sporting. 2-1 it was. 2-1 final score. Got 6 points on that badger. Not too shabby. Barcelona pick up a 3-0 win was my pick. 4-2 was final score. Bayern 2-0 win over Inter. 3-1, of course, my pick on that as well. Rangers lost to Ajax. I actually went with the Rangers victory, but of course now new manager Michael Beale over there. Taking over the reins. Liverpool picked up a 2-0 win over Napoli. 1-1 was my pick. Shakhtar Donetsk lost 4-0 to Leipzig. I went with a draw. Not great. Madrid did beat Celtic. I went with a 3-0. It was a 5-1 in the end. I got 6 points for that. Maccabi Haifa lost 6-1 to Benfica. 2-1 it was for me. Juventus picking up a loss to PSG. I went with a 2-2 draw myself. Dortmund only drew with Copenhagen. 3-1 it was for me. Man City 2-0 win. That was my pick. 3-1 it was final score. AC Milan 4-0 win over Salzburg. 3-0 win for me. And then, of course, wrap it up there. Chelsea got a bit of revenge over Zagreb. 2-1 final score. 2-0 win for me as well. Let's take a look at, of course, the Champions League situations. Of course, the knockout stages are upon us, but let's take a look at who actually qualified. Napoli are there, so are Liverpool finishing top of Group A. Over in Group B, it's Porto and Club Brugge. Surprise, surprise. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Scotty Parker is now the manager over at Club Brugge. Into Group C, Bayern, 18 points for them, 100% success rate. Internazionale go through. Barcelona going to the, I don't even know what the heck they're going to. Was it Europa League? Europa Conference League? We'll find that out later in the week because we do predictions for those as well. Spurs picking up top spot over in Group D. Frankfurt joining them. Sporting and Marseille both crashing out. Chelsea top Group E after a bit of a wobbly start. Potter's boys winning the last 4. AC Milan will join them in the knockout stages as well. Group F sees Real Madrid and Leipzig. They're both through in a very, very tight Group F. Celtic, but a bit of a damp squib, none the same. City, of course, topping Group G. Dortmund will join them. Sevilla looking a bit of a shambles both domestically and in Europe. And, of course, Group H is Benfica, top bills. PSG, second. Juventus, shambles as well. So those were, of course, the tables. You saw my picks. Let's have a look at, where's our table? Do we have our table? Let's go over the leagues here. Private leagues, here we go. I'm actually doing pretty shitty, but that's, of course, let's get back in there and show you what I'm talking about. We are talking about, let's go back to that last match day, match number 6. Who topped the bill there? Andy Russell, 65 points compared to my 40-yard, 44. That's pretty good, isn't it? Meanwhile, Owachito up there with 64. Mario Casillas up there in bronze. Vincent's up there. If you see your name here, boys, make sure you smash your thumbs up. Give this video a bit of loving because this is our first actual video. My face is back on the video. First time since I don't even know, December, January, I don't even know. Hansworth's up there, of course. Alex Weller, some familiar names. Raymond Reddington, of course. And I am all the way down there in 26. That's, don't look at it. Don't look at it. It makes you blind. It makes you blind. But, of course, let's take a little look at the overall lead. Well, there's Nico ZYT. Top bills, 287. He's got a bit of a lead over the likes of Kyle Muckian, who's actually in a second spot there with 278. Well done, Kyle. Keeping up with the Madagascar up there, 277. They are very, very tight for that silver medal spot. But right now, it's Nico ZYT running away with it. As for me, I'm down at 16th. It's credible. 248. I need snookers, really, to be honest with you, to get myself back up there. But I'm really chasing Douglas, James, Horn, and Hansworth. Those are my targets for the time being. If I can get the top 10, I will take that to the bank. But what we're doing now is jumping, of course, to those illustrious knockout stages. 4 games are taking place this week. 4 games taking place next week. We are going to predict, I think, them both. So let's get into it. Kick it all off with PSG up against Bayern. A bit of a zinger, of course. That's taking place this coming Tuesday. That's, of course, Valentine's Day, hence the intro. Let's take a look at it then. Now, these two sides, according to my eyes, have played each other 6 times since 2017. 4 wins for Bayern, 2 wins for PSG, 0 draws. PSG, though, come into this on back-to-back defeats, 58% form for them over the grand scheme of things. Meanwhile, Bayern unbeaten in the last 6, winning 3 on the bounce, looking very, very good. Their biggest win, PSG, over Bayern was a 3-0 win. We'll talk about that shortly. Bayern's biggest win was a 3-1 win over PSG as well. And they've actually scored 10 goals compared to PSG's 8 over the course of those 6 games. Works out about 1.67 goals a game compared to PSG's 1.33. Of course, last time they played each other over in Paris was, of course, a 1-0 win for Bayern back in April 2021. That was in the quarter-final stage of the Champions League. I don't know if it was good enough to be. I think it was. I don't think it was good enough. I think PSG won that quarter-final doubleheader, courtesy of a 3-2 win for PSG over Bayern in the Allianz Arena. So I think they squeaked through on, of course, the goal difference. Kicking off forward, Bayern coming to this on the back of that 3-0 win over Bochum. That was, of course, back on the weekend. PSG with a 3-1 loss to Monaco. It's actually back-to-back defeats, losing to Marseille. And, of course, Monaco now in quick succession. Not the greatest week for the World Cup winner, Messi. That's right. But, of course, kicking off forward, what do we look at the odds here? The odds for this game, we have 70-10 for PSG for the victory at Paris, or over in Paris. 29-20 is the victory for Bayern, and 11-4 is the draw on this one. Now, where are we going to go? The popular pick here is, of course, a 2-1 win for PSG. It smells like a draw to me. I think I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw on this one. Bayern are tricky unit. PSG are a bit wobbly right now, but of course they probably are focusing all eyes on the Champions League this time around. I think there's a lot of pressure on the coach already, who of course was brought in over the summer after a good season, was it with Nice? But anyway, regardless, 2-2 for me. Bayern getting maybe the upper hand on this. We'll kick it off forward to the other Valentine's game, and that will be AC Milan up against Tottenham. Of course, over at the, where is this going to take place? Of course, over in Italy. The Giuseppe Meazza, of course, that's right. Stefano Poli up against Antonio Conte. Of course, he's been not been the greatest health recently. Of course, I think he's back to the touchlines now. But anyway, not the greatest form for both of these two sides coming to this. I think it's a good distraction from the domestic affairs. Milan just 1 win in 6 now, 25% form for them. Spurs, though, 3 wins and 3 defeats in the last 6. That's 50% form for them right now. But they have played each other 4 times since 2011. 3 wins for Spurs, nothing for Milan, but a draw, of course, between the two sides. In fact, Spurs' biggest win over Milan was a 2-0 win. They've actually scored 4 goals compared to Milan's 0, which works out around a goal a game whenever they play each other. But last time they played each other in real deal competitive action in Italy was a 1-0 win for Spurs way back in February 2011. That was in the Champions League as well. They played each other a couple of times in some domestic friendlies, so don't read too much into that form heading into this. But Spurs do come into this on the back of a bit of a 4-1 stomping by Leicester City in the Premier League. Milan squeaking past Torino with a 1-0 win. Of course, both those games happened this past weekend in the domestic divisions. Of course, the odds right here are now 70-10. Actually, scrap that. 29-20 is your AC Milan for the victory on this one. For the first leg, 23-10 is your draw here, and 90-10 is your Spurs. I've got a gut feeling, a small thing in my belly that thinks Spurs are going to nick this one. 1-0. I think Spurs, I think Milan are just on the ropes too much right now, and I think they need a moment, a magical moment, whether it's domestically or in the Champions League, to get their season back on track. Right now, they are steamrolling for nothing, and of course could see themselves slip out of next year's contention for the Champions League if they can't get the domestic form back on track. So 1-0 win for me for Spurs, and that'll put them in the upper hand heading into the second leg. Kicking on forward into Wednesday, we have Dortmund up against Chelsea. A Chelsea side spent a lot of money over the transfer window, both summer and in the winter. And of course, Graham Potter's side looking a little bit ropey with form at the moment. Anyway, Dortmund come into this 100% form, winning 6 out of 6 of the last few games. Of course, Chelsea picking up unbeaten run of 4, however, drawing 3 of those last 4. In fact, just 1 win in 6, 42% form for them heading into this. Of course, never played each other, these two sides, so it'll be a first. Dortmund, though, coming into this on the back of a 2-0 win over Bremen. That was, of course, this past weekend. Chelsea with a 1-1 draw against West Ham. In fact, 3 draws on the spin for them. Just 1 goal conceded out of the last 4. So looking good at the back, pretty shit up front. The one thing they really didn't invest in was a striker. But of course, heading into this, take a little look at the form. The bookies odds 29-20 for Dortmund here, 23-10 is a draw, 90-10 is your Chelsea on this one. I do think Chelsea will keep a clean sheet on this. They've been playing very tight at the back. That seems to be their mentality right now, focusing on defence because their forward line is pretty wank. So I'm going to go with, on this one, I'm going to go with the ball draw. This is the game you don't want to watch. I think Dortmund, of course, lacking from having Haaland no more. They're relying on Anthony Modeste, who's gone for his own health situations this past year. They are still winning and doing very, very well, but I just think Chelsea's defensive side will be the catalyst for this game and the deciding factor. Moving forward into the final game of this week, it is Club Brugge up against Benfica, of course, coming over in Belgium. Surprise, surprise, seeing Belgium at this stage. It is Scotty Parker up against Roger Schmidt of Benfica, of course, taking place at the Jan Bevel Stadium on the 15th of Feb. Never played each other, these two sides. Bruges, though, come into this unbeaten in the last 6, however, just 1 win out of 6, drawing 5 of the last 6 up against the Benfica side. Just 1 defeat the past 6, 75% form for them heading into this. Benfica picking up a 5-4 win, a 5-4 loss against Braga. That was on penalties in the Portuguese Cup. That was back on the 9th of Feb. Meanwhile, Bruges only drawing with Union Galois, of course, back in the weekend as well. So I don't know how well Scotty Parker has done since taking over the reins in his first foreign appointment, which is, of course, a good move for him. 60-5 is your Bruges, 11-4 is the draw, 2017 on is your Benfica, and I am going to go with Benfica on this one. I just think they are a team you don't really want to play. They may have been the team may have lost a bit of value, a bit of quality, but they are still a team to fear, especially when the game comes back to Portugal. I think we'll see them really stand up, but I think they will take the biscuit here, of course, and take a 2-0 win over Bruges. Just kick it off forward, though. We are going to take a look at the next round of matches because my time is a little bit wobbly. So we're going to jump into the second weeks, but of course, kicking on forward and looking for those games. Taking place on the 21st of Feb, Frankfurt up against Napoli. Let's take a look at this Badgerino then, of course, coming at you at the Deutsche Bank Park. Again, never played each other, these two sides. Frankfurt, though, coming to 67% form for them. Just 1 defeat past 6 up against the Napoli side. Just 1 defeat the past 6. 83% form for them, winning 5 of the last 6. Looking very, really good over in Italy. Of course, Napoli pick up a 3-0 win over Cremonese most recently. Back-to-back clean sheets also for Napoli. Just 1 goal conceded over the last 4. That was against Roma. Meanwhile, Frankfurt did lose to Köln, 3-0, of course, over in Köln. Last home game for them was a 4-2 win over Darmstadt in the German Cup. But of course, the odds for this one right here, right now, we've got 2-1 as your Frankfurt, 5-4 is your Napoli, and 5-2 is, of course, your draw. This one is where I think the away side really clicks in the gear. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Napoli on this one. I just think their mentality is right on track right now, right on point, and I think they could go far in this competition. They might even be considered outsiders to lift it at the end of the campaign, because if you just keep winning keeps that momentum going, and of course going to Naples or Napoli is going to be tricky for any one of these sides remaining in the last 16. Let's get on forward though to Liverpool. They are taking on Real Madrid. A bit of a zinger, of course, that is next week. So we're going to a bit to wait. Of course, today, of course, Liverpool taking on Everton in the Merseyside derby. Of course, Klopp under a bit of pressure perhaps, but I think I read some stuff that he's going to be backed in the summer. Against the Real Madrid side, also a little bit wobbly perhaps. Just 1 win in 6 for Liverpool right now, 33% form for them right now. Of course, Real Madrid just 1 defeat past 6, 75% form for them heading into this. They have played each other 8 times since 2009. 2 wins for Liverpool, 5 wins for Real Madrid, 1 draw. Biggest win for Liverpool, 4-0 win. The biggest win the other way, a 3-0 win. In fact, Real Madrid, they scored 11 goals compared to Liverpool 7, of course, of those 8 games. Works out around about 1.38 goals a game compared to 0.88 goals scored by Liverpool over Real Madrid. Last time they played each other over in Liverpool, it was a 1-0 win for Real Madrid. That wasn't in Liverpool, that was a final. That was back in May 2022. Last time they played each other in Liverpool, though, a 0-0 draw back in April 2021. Real Madrid going through the doubleheader on that quarter-final. Liverpool, though, did lose to Wolves back on 4th of Feb. Real Madrid picking up the World Club Cup over 5-3 win over Al Hilal over in wherever that is, Abu Dhabi or wherever that game's taking place. Of course, they haven't played a game in La Liga since a 1-0 loss to Mallorca, so they need to get back domestically to winning, which of course will take place this midweek. So they're playing catch up there. Of course, Liverpool taking on Everton. The odds here, we've got 5-4 Liverpool, 2-1 is your Real Madrid, 5-2. So it's difficult. It is difficult. Going to go with a draw myself on this one, 1-1, right down the middle. I've just realised that because they're split, I think I can do a double, a boost for both of these games. So anyway, I might add that myself shortly. Anyway, Internazionale up against Porto, taking place on Wednesday, February the 22nd. Of course, now these two sides, I've played the 5 times. So 2005, 3 wins for Inter, 1 win for Porto, 1 draw. Inter, though, winning 5 of the last 6, are looking good at the moment. 83% form up against a Porto side, winning 6 on the bounce, 100% form. Don't underestimate these Portuguese sides, 100% form for them right now. Biggest win for Porto over Inter, 2-0 win. The biggest win the other way, a 3-1 win. Inter scored 9 goals compared to Porto's 7 over the course of those 5 games. Works out about 1.8 goals a game for Inter, 1.4 goals a game for Porto. Last time around, though, in competitive action, real deal action in Italy, it was a 2-1 win for Inter way back in November 2005. That was in the Champions League Group H. Porto, though, 2-1 win over Sporting. Big win for them over the weekend. Inter, big win for them over AC Milan way back on the 5th of February in the Milan derby. The odds, though, for this Badgerino is we have Milan, Internazionale, of course, 20-17 on for the victory, 13-5 is your Porto, 60-5, of course. I do think Inter will nick this one. Going to go with a 2-1 win. Going with the majority here. 30% of the people who have already picked the score have gone with that one. And then, you know, you can change these because these are 2 separate weeks. But I'm going to hold true and stick that in there, because there will be games prior to these ones that could affect them, could injuries, like Haaland right now has got a bit of an injury, don't know what he's going on, and we're talking about Man City next. Leipzig against Man City at the Red Bull Arena, taking place, of course, on the 22nd of Feb. Played each other twice to 2021, 1 win apiece. Leipzig, though, just 1 defeat the past 6, 67% form for them right now. Man City, though, 2 defeats the past 6, 67% form for them, of course. Man City's biggest win, their only win over Leipzig, 6-3 it was. Biggest win the other way, 2-1 win for Leipzig. Leipzig have scored just 5 goals compared to City's 7 over the course of those 2 games. We're talking about 3.5 goals a game for Man City, 2.5 goals a game for Leipzig. Last time around, though, in Germany, 2-1 win it was for Leipzig way back when. That was in December 2021. Kicking off 4, that was in Group A. City, though, big 3-1 win over Aston Villa. Of course, Leipzig with a 2-1 loss to Union Berlin. Bit of a shocker, Reno there. Of course, the odds, though, 3-1 is your Leipzig, 65 on is your City, 3-1, of course, is your draw. I don't know on this one. It is tough to call. I think I'm going to go with City 2-0 win, despite Haaland not being involved and all that kind of jazz. So those are the state of plays. Of course, the current favourite to win the Champions League, I'll give you right here, right now, the odds. It is City, Man City, 7-4 to win it, 11-2 is your Bayern, and PSG are 8-1. So we're going to jump back. We're going to jump back to this first week here, and we're going to do our boost. Our boost, we'll see. I'm going to go booster on the Benfica victory over Club Brugge. I'm going to do that. Player of the match. Oh my gosh. I will do that. I just don't have the time to do that right now. And the booster for this one, the second week, I'm going to go Man City. I'm going to go Man City on this one because I think that's the only one that I can pretty much guarantee is going to happen, because the other 3 are quite tight. Anyway, guys and girls, I am back. The videos are back. They're not back into full flux. I think we're just going to do the European competitions this week, and then maybe a watch along hopefully on Saturday, and then we'll see where we are next week with regards to Premier League and all that kind of stuff. We've got a lot still going on. I'm still here in Pennsylvania. We're still trying to get ourselves down to Georgia. A lot of things are in the balance. But anyway, I do appreciate some love on this channel. If we can get some likes on here, I don't even know what the like target we can put out there. 50. If we put 50 likes on this Badgerino, if so, make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell. We'll be back, and soon the lights will be back, the graphics will be back. It'll all look sexy very, very soon, even though it does look pretty sexy right about now because I'm here. But anyway, until then, guys and girls, I'll see you soon for the next.